Chat, here we go. We have another match today like we always do. This time, it's Wisty versus Aygius, a matchup of players who are 2-1. Aygius, I couldn't tell you his record coming into this one. Wisty went into the final 2-0 against Forky. I shouldn't say final, but the upper bracket. Forky was able to best him just barely. So now, he'll have another opportunity. But he has to do it against Aygius, who's coming out of the mid matchup. And chat, exclamation point bracket, and you guys can go find out what's going on. Forky did not lose, he won. But, in this case, winning sends you home. Forky gets to go sit back, relax. He has made it to the main event. Does not need to worry about continuing to play the qualifier. Not the same for Wisty and Aygius, who still need to make it through. Both these guys very highly seeded. Not to brag, chat, but if you look at the first round of the bracket, including everyone on the left, who is a player that I invited because I figured they were a talented ones player, against everyone on the right, who is a collection of players who qualified that did not get an invite, you will notice that the invited players won every single game. Listen, I don't know if that makes me an expert at ones, but not every single game. Every single game's not true. Every single match. Main David, my boy Main David would beat them all. You mean, was he Main David? It was Main Goat. Yeah, Main Goat 101. That's too bad he didn't end up qualifying. Game 5 against Hydra, that's tough. Main David played really, really well. Aygius will get his first goal. But they're already at home. Wait, what are you saying when you say that? I'm confused. Oh, I said they'll go home. Yeah, I must have said that multiple times. Got it. Yeah, this is not a sporting event in which you go home from a tournament. You're already at your home. Got it. Yep. I see. Telling me not to use my sports idioms. I won't stand for it. I am insane because I thought I saw Aygius score already. Did Aygius score on his own goal? Is that what he ripped a no? Did I just see Aygius rip an own goal and it was so convincing that I didn't even know that he did it? He's spamming no right now, so maybe he's listening to the stream. I'm not sure. But he does get a goal. And Wisty is up 3-1. Aygius. Open field in front of him after a Wisty mistake. Wisty, nice challenge. It's 50. Sent away. Aygius. Nice juke. Gets himself a second. Aygius coming in to this event as the 2 seed after Forky realized that he was going to be able to play when he previously couldn't. He actually subbed in for Rapid. I don't know why no one was asking me where Rapid was, but Forky replaced him because Rapid ended up having to play a 3s tournament today. And so I gave Forky the 1 seed because I felt that that was accurate. And it turns out I was right. Forky made it all the way through, or maybe he made it all the way through because I gave him the 1 seed. But the 2 seed was Aygius. So can he make me look correct? I think I had him rated slightly higher than Wisty. Because on these USD servers, you have to think a top player like Aygius will have the edge. Is Wisty streaming his POV? I don't know. It's a good question. You can look through the Rocket League directory. Maybe you'll see him. I don't know exactly what his name is. Thoughts on Flitz going 3-0? Let's go. Flitz went 3-0. I didn't know who is the other person to go for 3-0. That doesn't surprise me too much. Flitz has been playing ones recently, and he's been decently high rated. Backiness, can you tell me the 3 guys he beat? I want to see if I'll be like extraordinarily surprised by any of them. I pulled Flitz into the invitation. And according to his rating, you know, there was a lot of other people rated around him, but I could tell that he was pretty focused. I think that's a pretty big clutch. I want to hear the names he beat. Tryhard Lito, Daunt, and Roxus. Yeah? I mean, I could see him winning all those games for sure. I think Tryhard Lito's probably a pretty tough first round for him as well. I think he just barely won that game. Charlito is a very solid player. Who has been eliminated, Bankinus? Can you feed me the info, man? I don't even have a second to look at these brackets. I'm like going in and out of the games, trying to keep that production top tier for everybody in Twitch. YouTube, you're gonna be slightly bummed. You're like, man, Feer's been distracted all day. Or each of these videos have been a little bit less focused Feer every time, which I apologize for. Has Rapid played yet? Rapid got replaced by Forky. Yo, John Fuffy, thank you for the prime, man. Thanks for handing me a little bit of Bezos cash. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Feer clan. Hopefully you have been enjoying the event so far. Swamp. Looks like Swift and Exheel are 0-3. Swift was a sub-in for somebody who couldn't make it as the last seed, so that kind of makes sense. Exheel, he qualified, but I think qualified lower bracket, so sounds like nothing too crazy. Flitz, maybe a little bit of unpredicted qualification from him, but Forky qualifying definitely makes sense. Thanks for the content. No problem, man. Chat, there's a match going on right now at this very moment of JJ versus Jay. If that isn't the most legendary match. Match of the year. Match of the year, if you guys want to watch it, is on Buried Living's channel. If you're a Twitch member who's watching on Twitch, you probably know Buried Living. He's our mod. He's here all the time. He's live right now helping us stream games. If you want to watch JJ versus Jay, I mean, how can you resist? It is on Buried Living RL. You can have my monitor or, my stream up on one monitor. Buried's on the other. Because, of course, I would never suggest leaving my stream. But if you're from the YouTube, maybe you don't know Buried. Maybe you see Buried over in the right whenever you're checking to see how chat is reacting to a play. Wisty is going to stay in this game, get himself a 6th. Aygius had given himself just a little bit of separation. But a Wisty brings it right back. Roxer's beating Aygius is surprising for me. Yeah, I would say Aygius is favored in that for sure. I bet you're glad you don't have to try and cast those names. I'm interested to see if it's actually really that much of an issue. It probably isn't so bad. It's funny, but I actually think it's not that bad. That's my take. Aygius, nice 50. Wisty gets faked, and oh my goodness, Aygius, he greeted it out a little bit. He wanted the perfect shot instead of just a good one. I think a good one would have scored. He tried to go off the far post and in. Could have gotten away. A much more pedestrian shot. Now he's going to be tied late in the game with Wisty. Wisty's going to try and lob it over him, and Wisty is going to succeed at lobbing it over him to get a 7. Aygius, I saw him streaming earlier in this week talking about how excited he was to play in this match. Thought it was going to be, or not this specific match, but play in the event. Thought it'd be a fun time. And now he's saying that he's hard trolling, which I'm sure he doesn't appreciate. But technically, the ball hasn't hit the ground, and Aygius has popped it high with no boost to follow it up. It's not likely, but it's only game 1. Wisty will take the early lead, trying to show a reason why he was at the 2-0 mark and qualify. Game number 2. I didn't update the scoreboard. I've been so good about that. That's my first time messing it up today. I'll update it on the first goal. Wisty up 1-0 in the series. Aygius up 1-0 in game number 2. Can you guess who won game 1 of JJ versus J? I'll give you a hint. They do have a J in their name. I'm going to go J. Was I right? I was trying to wait. I was trying to say that I was going to say J, and then if you were saying, well, you're wrong, it's JJ, I was going to just say a second J, and then I couldn't be wrong. But you took too long to respond. Aygius, did he play the last game in the Octane? I want to say he did. He's in the Fennec now. He's going to trust the 1v1 main car, I would say. People certainly believe in Fennec's ability to win 1v1 games. And I think you have to credit the Middle Easterns for that for a big part. So many of them play in the hit. Wait a second. That's a dope boost. That should be used way more often. That was a sick song. Yeah, let's go. I just want Aygius to continuously boost. He's going to give a second. Khaled has more ones events than Fairy. Wait, you sound like me. I was the one who put who put Khaled as the GOAT because I didn't count show matches and like all the early stuff that Fairy did. So my algorithm picked Khaled. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair to say chatting Khaled go. It's totally fine. That's acceptable. Acceptable slander of Feer. Wisty air dribble bump of sorts. Doesn't really get the bump. Doesn't really get much of a dribble, but it doesn't matter. He ends up scoring, and that's the important part. He says, how? And I agree. I don't really know how, but I watched it twice, and I still haven't found out. Depends on if you're counting the lore games, 6 of which Fairy won. I mean, they're single show matches, right? I'll be honest, the League of Rocket games, I remember being like slightly confused how those worked. Fairy's 100% to go. No one is even close. You're memeing. Yes, I know. That is certainly the popular agreement. Scrub is the GOAT. Nah. I wouldn't say. Do we think he's the best of all time? We're saying he's the greatest of all time, and that is potentially true. What about the best of all time? I think I was listening to OSM, Fairy, and Johnny Boy talk about it. Johnny Boy picked Joria's. Machinus is a Johnny Boy faithful. I couldn't imagine a world in which he would disagree. Nice goal from Wisty. Another close game here. 3-3. Some kickoff back and forth between these guys. Gengar is the GOAT. Y'all tripping. Gengar is the GOAT of Space Station. Dude, just had the best idea. Why did Space Station Gaming never sign Gengar? The duo was a match made in heaven. How did that never happen? Need a chatting emote for Mina OCE RLCS chats if people argue about NA, NRG, and E. That's too much for me. I'm sure it makes tons of sense, but I'm too deep into the stream. Aygius with a 4th. Let's go, Wisty. Ugly gamer from Sam. Wait, why's he got to be ugly? Why can't you just be the gamer from Sam? NA is going to win the major. Yeah. It's possible, right? I mean, for a full-on chatting, it's usually like something egregious, like offensively bad. Saying NA is going to win the major just means you're saying NRG is going to win the major, which, like, whatever. They got to the finals last time. Like, it's not that crazy. Saying something like NRG is most likely to win the major, now that's a chatting. Aygius. Can't find much of anything. Wisty's going to take to the skies. Crucial moment. Decides to accelerate the ball instead of get a potential flip percent and slow it down. And Aygius has the read. Last time they were arguing about whether Musty was pro level during a series between Sights and Ultimates. Wait, they were joking, obviously. Whoever was arguing about it was... Oh, you mean chat? No, chat can be pretty dumb. I mean, there's a chance the chat thought that was actually what was happening. You're beyond hyped to see First Killer play a one show match? Yeah, I think everybody is. You know, me included. First Killer returning the ones. It's going to be amazing. It is going to be sick. I'm very excited. Maybe tell me what happened to Nupo. They forfeited their own games. They had exams, I think is what both of them said. And it seems like they were both trying to qualify quickly. If they had won 3-0, then they'd be good to go. They didn't. And so I think Nupo even forfeited mid-games. Which, forfeiting mid-games sounds to me like somebody came into your room and told you that you're forfeiting right now. Usually, especially, he was in the lead as well. So, listen, the man might have exams and he might, on his own, decide that he wants to worry about them. But it does seem like a pretty suspicious time to decide, you know what? I know I'm winning. I know I'm playing. But actually, I'm done. I want to go. I want to go work on my exams. Like, oh, okay. I mean, it might be the first time ever that, you know, a young Rocket League player has done that. Aygius up 7-5, trying to set the series to 1-1. Wisty has always been able to strike back, and as I say that, he makes me look like a genius as he puts himself back within one on a very quick kickoff. They said forfeits aren't tolerated, but will they get away with it or not? I don't know. It's a good question. You know, this is a little bit of a special situation. The Swiss is very deeply involved, something we've never run before. So, not sure how I feel about it. But if we get to bracket play, and people are forfeiting live games, like Nupo forfeited while in the lead, I mean, it's just such an obvious different situation that he didn't have control over. And Kalir is forfeited up 2-1. When I say up 2-1, I mean he had won 2 games to 1 loss. So he was playing well that whole day. And then he just said, I'm done. You know, he had 2 more lives. Like that's... People forfeiting from winning positions are pretty obviously, you know, it's a different situation. Aygius tying up the series. Game number 3. Aygius strikes back, and he's gained confidence enough to put himself back in the Space Station Gaming Octane, which I believe is what we saw him play in game number 1. Just needed a little bit of a refresher. He didn't like it. Must not have played as well as he was hoping. Could have told you about the situation beforehand. Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is that I try and do something that I think like a team of people probably should do. Nice demo in Aygius getting it first. The organizing of a pretty big tournament, especially this is a pretty large involved tournament. I mean, really, I should be checking in with everybody, especially young teenagers and stuff who, you know, need to be helped through it a little bit more. You know, like, hey, are you going to be able to play? This is when we're starting. If you go this long, you know, checking in next couple days. I should probably do that. There's probably a team of people doing that. I don't think I could ever do that myself. But instead, what I do is I kind of just handle it as if everyone was kind of full-fledged adults. You know, just give them the rules, give them the path, and assume that they're going to be able to plan and figure everything out on their own. And like we said before, Kalir's, Lupo, both 14, 15 years old. Sometimes you just don't have control when you're that young. You don't really get to choose if you keep playing or not. And you thought maybe you were going to be able to play, but then you can't anymore, and that's just the way it goes. And that's kind of one of the reasons that made me think more about the community guidelines and the age restrictions. Like, I think about RLCS being 18, and it does seem like it changes the dynamic a lot. Knowing that everybody in the league is an adult just would make things easier, I'm sure, for organizations and just everybody involved. Aygius, and like, is it enough to sacrifice the top players? Because you would be doing that, right? There's tons and tons of top players under 18 years old. So you'd be reducing the quality of the gameplay for the sake of the other things you could benefit from it, as well as you're protecting the kids from potentially harming themselves, being too involved in the video game. But who knows? I don't know. Lots of other esports have decided 13, 15 is the right age, so Rocket League Esports sticking with it as well. I'm not necessarily saying they should change it, but it is an interesting thought. I think what might be the result. Gonna start at 40 plus Rocket League. I can tell you that is not the right answer. Nice flick. What a save. Wow, Wisty. He has had good saves in and out of the net. It's a perfect setup for the flick that Aygius was taking. And now Wisty from the corner. And we see a little bit of magic here. He's going to go 50, and he should be able to sneak it in the top right. You believe the quality will go up in a year or two when these players become 18. Their skills won't degrade. It should improve. I feel like that's not the trend we've seen. Players start aging out pretty quickly. I would say 18 is like the median. Like 18, 19 is like a median age, it feels like. So if you make that the minimum, you're cutting off like half the people. And even if it's not the median, let's say it's, you know, 2/3 of people are older than 18, which I don't think that's the case, but let's say it is. You're still cutting out 1/3 of the talent. Which games are 13? I think Fortnite is 13, if I was told. Or maybe read somewhere. Wisty tap high to keep the oncoming Aygius at bay. Aygius for the challenge. Wisty's going to camp on the back wall. Look to see if he can carry this away. Just doing some boxing out though. And that pinch not going to be strong enough. So tons and tons of space. Aygius can set up whatever he wants. What is his favorite go-to play? He's going to take a pretty straight dribble on net and flick past the edges of the goal. Never really had a chance of scoring. Wisty not finding anything out of the corner. He's able to take the boost. So Aygius is still playing on 0. Might be able to catch him deep out of position or maybe steal the corner. No, Aygius taking advantage of the fact that the hitbox favors the higher player, and he jumps over the bump and grabs the boost, as well as gives himself the lead with a minute left to go. By 18, kids are expected to go to college most of the time, so probably not as much time to play. There's tons of time in college to play, at least when I was in college. Probably had more in high school, but I feel like I just can't even really remember high school. But I know for a fact that college had a ton of free time. Wisty getting a third, tying it right back up. We're going to see the wow from Aygius. I think giving himself a little bit of crap, he felt like he should have done better there. Probably tons of things he could have done differently with that ball on his back wall. Ultimately, corrals it and taps it out to give Wisty an angle to shoot. During college, still have tons of free time. I know I did. Wisty, his shot saved by an in and out from Aygius, and Aygius can't get back. So a crucial lead late into the game, 4-3 for Wisty. 30 seconds. Can he hold on to it? Give himself a 2-1 in this match. Get himself ever closer to qualifying for the main event. Get another South American player in the main event. I think 3 South American players had a chance. KV1, who got instantly invited, so he succeeded in his chance. And then Wisty and Swift today. Also 2 Mexican players in the qualifier today. Bambi and Tryhard Lito. I don't know where they're at. Like I said, I haven't had the chance to follow the racket too much other than the games I've been covering. Maybe Tryhard Lito and Bambi still in it. Wisty 5-3. Aygius spamming quick chats to himself. Not proud of whatever he was doing at the end of this game. Free time in college is major dependent. I was an engineering major. Still feel like it was pretty free time. But I don't know if engineering is supposed to be one of the bad ones or not. Game number 3 goes to Wisty. 2-1. They're in lower round 4. Are they playing each other? They played each other at one point, right? Game number 4. Wisty versus Aygius. Who will move on? Nice shot by Wisty. Go up 1-0. So right now, there's, what, 6 matches going on, right? 3 of them are between players who are 2-1, and 3 of them are between players who are 1-2. Sounds like both Tryhard Lito and Bambi are in the lower, where players are 1 and 2. For the rest of the players who are 2 and 1. Pen chat, help me out. I should probably pull this up on a second monitor or something. You're mechanical engineering. Too bad that didn't help the mechanics in RL. True. CS major. So me and all my buddies said we should have been. We're like, we're computer engineers, but we should have been computer science majors. That's actually what we want to do. We didn't realize it. Here's the last game going on for the high matches. I don't know. I assume so. Is one of them not being streamed? EC is definitely harder than CS. Nice dunk in the 2-1. Get that from all the computer engineers. Yeah, there's definitely some computer engineers who like engineering. They just like the hardware stuff a little bit more, a little bit low level. Those guys picked the right thing. Everybody who just wanted to do software, because I'm a software engineer right now as like a trade. That's my job title. Those people might as well just be computer scientists. Daunt 2-1 over Tryhard Lito. And Jay beating JJ. Yeah, that's what I would have guessed. I like when Aygius holds onto his boost. I like listening to the song. It's not offensive. You know, like they could have made it really offensive. They could make it sound like really loud, really high pitched. But it's a nice low pitch boost. Love it. Love it for Aygius. In fact, Wisty loves it as well. I'm going to throw him the nice shot. He knows a nice shot when he's seen one. And it's a great air dribble to double by Aygius. Wisty is jumping to try and cover what would be an arc that would score immediately on the first touch of the net. That's what he is expecting. Aygius accelerates it higher, able to double tap it in, and Wisty has to give him the nod. 2-hour-long security line. You're stuck in the airport trying to make it back to school after spring break. Hey, we've got a great stream for you, though. Wisty bumped into the boost. Aygius not giving up on the play, and so now he's found himself kind of deep in enemy territory, but he does get a strong clear, so he has likely handled that, gotten himself back in. Aygius pop, and to get to it, should be a fifth. I can't see Wisty anywhere in the realm of this ball. Chat, what's your favorite match so far today? And why is it Wisty versus Aygius? Because obviously it's the one we're watching right now. Aygius, nice demo. I think we're going to see yet another Game 5. Talked about how my stream feels like it's better at getting Game 5s. Aygius is going to try and play a little keep away. Does Wisty want to just forfeit? Oh no, Aygius couldn't do it. He couldn't stop it on the goal line, so he does end up scoring. Could have let that roll way farther out. Anyways, 6-2. Pretty clear OSM versus Pulse Jorby and Pulse Corelli. Yeah, you're right. That's probably the best one. Barry, thank you for the raid, my man. JJ versus Jay went in favor of Jay. That's what everybody over at the Barry Living stream was watching. And we are headed to what is probably going to be another Game 5 with Aygius versus Wisty. Aygius has turned around his deficit in game number 4. Still tons of time left on the clock, though, for Wisty to end it. Fun to cast, actually. Yeah, JJ versus Jay. I was saying, I don't think it'd be that bad. It's pretty easy to just not say Jay twice. That was going to be a nightmare with the names being similar. It wasn't too bad. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of the situation that would trip me up if I'm casting JJ Jay. It's probably pretty clear. You know, when you're referring to one of them, you say it once. When you're referring to the other, you say it twice. Wisty taking to the skies. Has a great bounce to do so. You could tell even before he got started. I know the way Wisty plays, he feels comfortable there. And good of a setup not to take it. But still struggling to find offense here. He might find a tight angle. No, Aygius gets the save. So 6-2. And Aygius has seemed to be able to control the pace enough to secure this win. Whoever comes out to an early lead in game number 5 will likely take the win. Astromic, Atomic, Astromic, Astro, Astral. That is, see, that's a tough one. Like Acronic and Atomic, those are like tongue twisters that you might say wrong. But JJ and J, they're said exactly the same. So they're not tongue twisters. It's just whether you say it once or you say it twice. So I actually think it's not that hard. JJ versus AJ, that one is worse. It's worse than JJ versus J, that's for sure. Wait, there's a very strong chance it actually happens. JJ versus AJ, that's funny. JJ versus AJG, kind of annoying. Yeah, that could be pretty bad. But even then, you just have to say the G every single time. If you want to try and shorten it, you can't. You just have to say AJG every time. J versus AJ. J versus AJ or JJ versus... Man. Anyways, Aygius is joining into the J clan. AJ versus Aygius and JJ and J will get the win and will send us to game 5. Winner moves on. Loser still has another chance, but has to try and regain after a tough loss. Aygius, this is a nasty shot. That's a pretty good clip. Wisty obviously let him, but still, credit where credit's due. At least it wasn't a triple flip reset, because then we have to start talking about whether or not CRR, you know, got bested. Get your game 5 hypes in the chat. Get your good scripts. Because we've got game 5. Wisty versus Aygius. Winner moves on. Loser only has 1 life left. Wisty, coming from the 2-0 side of the bracket, I'm sure does not want to have to deal with going into a 3rd game after losing 2 in a row. Aygius, be a little bit less confident in himself, having to struggle through the bracket, would prefer to exit now and have to go to game 5, or sorry, not game 5, but match 5. Technically today we're doing best of 5s in best of 5. That is what our Swiss is. Wisty unable to strike first. I do think this is a very important first goal in a critical game 5, and Aygius will be the one to get it. Aygius off the wall. Jay, you qualified, man. I saw you tweet thinking you were going 0-3 today. You sold yourself short, my man. You're in the main event. At least that's what I understand based on the few Discord messages I've seen. You're not in the main event. Oh, you're 2-2. Oh, I jinxed it. Oh, I jinxed it. Rip. Rip. Sorry, JJ. Guaranteed not going to make it now. I jinxed it. Sorry. You can blame that on me. You can blame that on me. That's my fault. I'll take that L. Sorry. Aygius. Oof. Trying to get a possession out of the save. We've seen this like a lot today. I feel like we see players going for possessions frequently, but not as many basically own goals that have come from it, where someone really, really tries to greed out a possession and ends up just getting scored on. Cast a curse without even casting me. I just instantly... yeah, my bad. Wisty. Air dribble bump. Does not connect. Such a crucial game. We heard some of the other guys at the end of last game talking about how nervous they were in these situations to qualify. Something I forget about. To be honest, I run so many games. And of course, my life doesn't hang in the balance here on the results, but obviously the heart's got to be pounding in games like this when you really think about it. Wisty getting a 2-1 lead. You got the 3s ice though. What about the match 5 ice in a Swiss? Wisty cannot stop this from going in. Aygius will force it low. You've grown so much. Are you saying that I'm older? Are you referring to me as a creator, or are you not referring to me at all? It is interesting People talking about how they get nervous. I mean, I imagine a decent amount of people are watching. I don't know. Like I said, I don't check the viewership. But certainly it's more than back when Kinsey talked about getting nervous playing on my stream when there was 6, 7 people, I think. Maybe 10. He said even that was nerve-wracking. So I've got to imagine players who aren't fully used to it have a tough time shaking the nerves. That being said, Aygius scoring a third here. Wisty not able to recover in time. Wrist shot. Oh, it's wrist shot, dude. He's a wrist RL. What happened to... You just didn't add a third 06? You got 3 different Twitch accounts. Why not just wrist shot 06, 06, 06? What team do you play for? Jay plays for Prestige. Aygius crossing over the midway mark of this game 5 in the lead. Wisty, what a snipe of a demo. Wait, that was actually insane. He did not get rewarded though. Aygius got a good spawn and was able to save it. But we were watching from Aygius' perspective. I can't imagine that Aygius thought he was actually going to get demoed that high up on the back wall. But Wisty found it. Just couldn't find the goal. And needs to find a goal if he wants to qualify from this match and not have to make one more attempt. Demo by Aygius and a 4th. Wisty's spawn will not be as convenient as Aygius's was. You love Aygius's boost? Yeah, I actually think it's kind of nice. The sound actually isn't that bad. I think it should probably be used more often. Oh, wait, you're Kinsey is a true man? You're a legend for any won't be one? Wait, Shabby Chic is... Kinsey is Vladimir Max. Why are we talking about Vladimir Max? Wisty has brought it back to tied. A couple quick goals. What's Aygius' record? Both these guys are 2-1. Winner advances to 3-1, and therefore the main event, loser 2-2, has only one more chance to get 3 wins. The non-stop comebacks and ones are insane. Yeah, nobody is ever out. Nice play by Aygius. Regaining his lead after Wisty works his way back to a tie game. Able to sneak it behind Wisty, who's trying to prep for the hook shot. Prepped a little bit too much. We need the Aygius versus Main David show match. The cats can sing to the tunes. Oh yeah, I forgot Main David runs the cat engine noise. Makes it so much more nervous because you can never be safe, even up 4 goals. Yeah, dude, I can't imagine how players are playing this tournament and not having their hearts explode. 1v1s are so incredibly stressful. But also, it's the stuff that's the most intense, the most stressful, the most fun. The wins are the highest highs. The losses, probably the lowest lows. And that's kind of the trade-off you make with competition like this. I can't imagine it, ever feels better than to beat somebody in ones. You just know you truly are the better player, at that game mode. Even in 3s, you can be like, my teammates kind of carried. Maybe I didn't really win. But, you know you won. And unfortunately, you also know you lost if you end up losing. Wisty, a nice backflip. Might be able to create an opportunity here. In fact, he does. 5-5. 41 on the clock. Aygius having to use up all his boost to recover. Can't actually get the save. Aygius. Ball to air dribble. Gonna use the ceiling. Wisty early challenge. Love to see it. Stops Aygius before you can even get going. Nice snipe. He had the pre-read. We watched it from Wisty's perspective, and he was deep in Aygius' brain. Aygius, who didn't have ball cam on, didn't know what was going on, but he tried to close the distance. Wisty up 6-5. We're getting into the crucial moments. This is a big mistake by Aygius not being able to challenge as he approaches back to the ball. 22 seconds. Will he get a kickoff goal to keep himself in this game? Wisty has boost, but Aygius is behind the ball. Can't find anything at first. He should be able to clear this to the back wall. Doesn't want to keep it too high in the air because higher in the air, I would argue, the easier Wisty could challenge. But Wisty has decided to play it super passive. In fact, Wisty has just left it open, did he not? Oh my goodness, what a save. Wisty, he like baited Aygius into that shot, but somehow he got the save. Wow, Aygius, that is crazy. Yeah, Wisty left it so open. Oh man, that was the perfect exchange. That described the end of that game perfectly. One more chance.